Day just passed, but it's not too soon to start preparing for next year. A big change is coming for anyone who gets paid through third-party payment apps like Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Those companies will be required now to issue 1099 tax forms to accounts receiving income over $600, likely affecting online sellers or all you side hustlers out there. So Bobbi Rebell is here with me in Studio 57 to explain. She's a certified financial planner and founder of Financial Wellness Strategies, an educational consulting company. She's also the author of the book Launching Financial Grownups, which I probably need to read because I'm trying to launch a financial middle schooler.
Yes.
But let us talk about this right now. So, during the pandemic, a lot of people started getting into these side hustles. I'm sure some of them they registered as businesses, some of them they probably haven't. What exactly does this rule say?
Okay, so the rule, I want to be clear, is not a change in the tax law. It is a change in how it is reported. So previously, if you were receiving payments through Venmo and Cash App and so on, as you just said, no one was sending you a document saying this is how much money you made.
Right.
Now you're going to get something called the 1099-K. You will get it, let's say, in January of 2024 for this 2023 tax year, and that will tell the IRS and you how much you owe. But you always sort of owe that money. They just didn't tell you that.
Right. That's a good thing to sort of underline, to highlight. So who is this going to impact the most, do you think?
Right. So, and I do want to say, by the way, it used to be $20,000 was the threshold. Now it's $600. So that's the big change I didn't mention.
That's a huge drop.
It's a huge threshold.
Yeah.
And that is why, to your point, it's going to affect side hustlers, as you mentioned, small business owners. Maybe if you're on Etsy and you're getting this transaction through these third-party apps.
Yeah.
Also, if you work part-time and maybe you weren't getting a 1099, now you're going to get it because it's coming through these apps.
And then how do you prepare for this? I mean, so it's starting for this coming year.
Right.
So then what do you do to make sure that you're right with the IRS?
And that's why it's so important that we're doing this segment now, because there is time to prepare. What you want to do is make sure your documentation is in line. So create separate accounts. For example, if you're paid through Venmo for your business, set up that as a business account, but then you can set up a separate account for your personal items. So for example, if your friends are paying you back after dinner and you're splitting the bill, or if you have roommates and you pay each other for the electric bill or for cable or for rent, that is not going to be taxed. What's taxed is goods and services through business. It's your business income. So make sure you keep separate records so that if there is a mistake, you then can go to the IRS and say, no, this was not business income. This was merely my friends and I paying each other back or a small gift to a friend, and you can clear that up.
Does it matter? Because my next question was going to be about personal expenses, but you gave some really good advice about that. Does it matter whether you registered this side hustle as a business or not?
Income is income. So that's what you have to remember. So the change here is, not in the tax law. It's in the fact that it's going to be reported. So income is taxed. And that's what the IRS is going to go after. And it is really complicated. And I do want to add that it's not necessarily, right now, this is what's going to happen. So I want everyone to be prepared. But this was delayed. This was supposed to go into effect last year.
Right.
So it's now supposed to go into effect for the 2023 tax year. But there's a lot of debate. It's very controversial. So, for example, they could change the threshold. It was $20,000. It went to $600.
Yeah.
It could go to $5,000 to $10,000. It could even go back to $20,000. We don't know. But I want everyone to be prepared.
Just keep your paperwork in order.
Yes.
As you go along. Don't try to do it at the last minute. That is the worst anxiety and stress you do not need.
Yes.
Bobbi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This Money Watch segment has been brought to you by Empower. Take control of your financial future and empower what's next.